Hello and welcome. I just picked this up today for the price of £200, the Parkside 20-volt robot lawnmower. This comes with a brushless motor, internal 20-volt battery and charging station. So I'm going to open it up and get into it to see what we got for £200. Here we are with both manuals, a manual for the battery, and to be honest, that looks like the 2-amp battery manual. So they've been stingy with that, though I have Parkside batteries that are bigger capacity and I probably will use them. Yeah. Explore what we got for that £200. We'll unbox that in a minute. QR code to tell you what to do. Some other things. Put that other literature. That's the laid out boundary wire for the, so it knows where to go. It's 130 metres they give me. We'll see how far that goes for me. And the beast as well. We'll have to screw that on somewhere. Figure that out in a minute. It's not heavy. Some small cutters. Yeah, we'll see. This is the charging base, or the bottom of the charging base, so that's what we have. Now I've got it out of the box, you can see that some assembly is necessary. Some work has to be done by yours truly to get this all up and running. The battery isn't obvious, it's probably inside. I'll have to figure out where it is. I would love to change it for a bigger one, but we'll see how it goes. To explain why I purchased this item, it's better to show you here. It's fair to say I have quite an extensive lawn, quite a lot of grass to cut, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, I'm going to probably assign that little lawnmower to this front part, because I think that side bit's going to be far too much for it with the gradient and the actual area. I think the best place to start is probably with the charging base. You get this bottom, which I've shown you earlier. I haven't explored this properly yet with you. There's a plug that goes on here, and there's a little part that comes off the base as well, but we'll talk about that later. And this actually goes on to this plastic, big flat plastic part. There's two parts to the lead, one of which plugs in here, and one of which connects here and plugs into the electricity, if that makes any sense. But before we explore the leads, we have to go on with this here, and I think it's quite simple to get this on. What you have to do is there's two lugs there, and they push into these two holes, and you push that down, and there's a couple of screws going the bottom. A little packet in the box, and it has this plug and these 4 screws for the bottom of the base. The screws go on here, as you can see, just to hold the charging dock onto the flat base. That's the 4 screws screwed in now, and we'll have a little look at what's going on here. Like I showed you earlier, there's that. This for this lead to screw into. You can't put it in wrong. There's a slot at the top of it, so you have to screw it in like that. And if you remember the other little plug that I had that was in along with the screw, this one goes on there and plugs on. Again, it can only go one way. That's to connect the boundary wire, you know. There. Push it in there for safekeeping now. We're not ready for it yet, but at least it'll be there when we need it. Next part is the mains plug adapter, you know. It's got the ordinary 3-pin plug in this end, and on this end it's got the same little plug, you know. Again, you have these little slots so you don't get it wrong. That's more or less your charging dock set up. So to continue further, this boundary wire, like I showed you, connects in here, connects into that connector, goes in a loop, complete circuit, unbroken. And we've sent a box of these pegs as well. These pegs go down into the lawn, and the wire goes into that little, if you can see that there, that part there. So there's a box of those. They've also supplied this. These screws go down through these holes to secure the station so it doesn't move around in your lawn. So they supplied the 6 screws and the little hexagon to drive them on. I can only presume that you attach this thing with the same screws, because the holes are in the right place for them, you know. So it's a bit like that. So we're progressing. To complete the list of contents, there's this little box containing spare blades and screws to attach them. So that's optimistic. I like that. I think it's time to take another look at this unit to see where the battery is. I'm assuming here, you know, there's 4 screws here. Get them out and see. There we are. So we'll just lift this off. And sure enough, that's where the battery is. And I think I'm going to have a bright idea. I'm going to take that into the workshop and charge it. That'll mean that we'll be ready to go, good to go, after I get the boundary wire laid out. Something I just want to check this, want to have the cover off. I have a 4 amp battery, which is twice the capacity of the one that comes with this, and I've also got an 8 amp battery, which is 4 times the capacity. There's not much difference in size, so the 4 amp, I'll see if that fits. That might be a better option. And if the 8 amp fits, we're really in for it, you know. It's looking good. The 8 amp fits in there perfectly. The only downside with the 8 amp is it'll take a lot longer to charge. It's a 2.5 amp charging units on the on this device, or from the base, you know, whatever way it works, and it's going to take, I would say, probably close to 2 hours to charge that, probably close to 4 hours to charge that. But if it's sitting there plugged in, it probably wouldn't matter. So I'll screw that lid back on to keep everything together, and I'll have a look at maybe fitting the base to the lawn, and maybe putting out the boundary wire. Another thing I want to give an honourable mention to, there's these measures inside the flaps of the box, and they pop out. They're perforated and they pop out, and they're to show you how far you need to be from the edge of the lawn with your boundary wire. That's what they're about. I probably won't need them. I definitely won't need them, as I've got a tape measure here and I'll be able to work it. So here we are, the installation of the charging base to the lawn. And here we go. That's the base secured now. I decided to pick this up as well. This is the Robot Lawnmower garage. This keeps our roof over our head, so to speak. because we live in a very wet part of the world. I'll get this assembled now. This doesn't come with the mower. It doesn't come. It comes as an optional extra. You have to pay between £25 and £35, depending how lucky you are. And there's, you know, instructions apparently. I don't think there's much to it though. That definitely was an IKEA level of doing this. And it works now. That's so the mower will have a roof over her head. So hopefully that, and it'll protect the charging unit in there too, I suppose. Here we are. The little parking garage, as it were, is fully assembled, and it's got an openable lid so you can get access to the charging base if you like. So the next things are boundary wire and our pegs, and you remember the boundary wire has to go into the back coming off the charging station. We'll take this plug out again. What we're doing is we're going to connect the wire in here. Spent the last few minutes laying the wire around the perimeter. I have to peg it all down. You know, it's all the way around the lawn, about 300 millimeters or a foot, roughly speaking, from the perimeter, you know, just about a foot, you know. So we'll peg it all down, then we'll get the robot into action. I gotta warn you, this sort of thing will take a while. Just gotta get that wire really down out of the way. That's the pegs all in, and the wire's as well sunk as I can get it now. Welcome back to our little friend here now. We just have to put the battery back in again. As you can see, it is fully charged now. It's charged long ago. I knew that was going to take a while pegging out the wire, you know. My lawn's better pegged than a visitor to a P Diddy party at the minute, to be honest. We'll get this lid off and get the battery in. I can put big batteries in this if I want, but because they sent us a 2 amp, it's a 2 amp we'll begin with, because most people won't have the range of batteries I have. So I had to reposition the charging station because I had to take the green wire, the boundary wire, underneath it. That's the way it's supposed to be set up. I didn't realise that when I was setting it up. So here we go. So here we are. I've repositioned the charging unit, and this cable is going underneath, and the cable on that side going underneath is going on here. It's going on here, and the other cable is going out here. And the important thing here is what I would call the Ghostbusters rule. Don't cross the streams, bank man. It started to rain, which is suboptimal for this job, because, you know, electricity and water are not the best of bedfellows. If you find this video helpful so far, please put in a comment and like it, because that keeps the old channel going. I think my setup's probably right now, so we'll give it a bash soon. Right, we've got to plug this bad boy in and see what happens. With that plugged in and powered on, you'll see the green light there. So the mower's got a wee lid like that, lifts up, and you can adjust what depth of grass you want to cut. That's 60 millimeters, that's 50 millimeters, 40 millimeters, 30 millimeters, and 25. We're going to go for 30, so that's just over an inch. It's taken some messing about to get this to go. Had to get a 4-digit pin, the date, the time, all that nonsense. Keep accidentally pressing the emergency stop here too, so that's not helping. I'm setting the time here. You can set a schedule with this. Finally we have liftoff, but she seems to want to go around in circles now, so we'll see how that goes. Let's see now how it's showing charge in there. You can see. I'm going to switch it on. It has a fully charged battery. And I'll put in the PIN number. That's it. I'm going to press OK, will we? Or schedule. We'll put it to schedule. I'll have to put a schedule on her. Yeah, I'll have to set the schedule. All 9 to 12 and 1300 to 1600. So that means she'll start in 3 minutes if that's the case. So we'll go OK with that, and we'll close the lid, and hopefully that'll do it. Here we are. Oh. She's over the edge first go. She's doing it anyway. I'll let her have at it. I'm calling that a success. She's doing the edge, I like that. I like the fact that she's doing the edge. That helps me immensely. Hey, I'm calling that a good job. So that's the Parkside Robot Lawnmower. Or if you're happy with this video and helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, share, and even subscribe if you like. But I'm going to do follow-up videos on how this thing's cutting and what more I can tell you about it when I know more. So if you like this video, do the needful. Thank you.